It's so beautiful out there, but I'm glad we're in here.
Me too.
This is perfect.
For the worst night of my life, Trudeau, this is the best breakfast I've ever had.
Funny how that works.
Yeah.
New title, Snowed In with My Best Friend's Mom. One blanket, one candle, and a secret neither of us expected. The story. 1,400 to 1,500 words. The storm came out of nowhere. I was driving through the Colorado mountains, music low, coffee warm in the cup holder, thinking I had plenty of time to reach Denver before nightfall. The next minute, the sky turned the color of a bruise, the wind picked up like something angry had been unleashed, and the GPS lost its signal somewhere between mile marker 47 and the middle of absolutely nowhere. My name is Caleb Harmon. I'm 26 years old, a construction project manager from Boulder, and up until that Friday evening in January, I thought I knew how to handle pressure. I was wrong. The road disappeared under 3 inches of snow in under 20 minutes. I pulled off near an old access trail I recognized. My best friend Derek and I used to hike up here in college. His family owned a small cabin about half a mile up that trail, a hunting cabin mostly. Used maybe 2 weekends a year. I had no signal, no other option. I grabbed my bag from the back seat and started walking. The cabin was dark when I pushed through the tree line, but there was a faint glow in the window that stopped me cold. Someone's already here. I almost turned back, but the wind slammed into me like a wall, and the temperature had dropped another 10 degrees in the last hour. I had no choice. I knocked. Silence. Then footsteps. The door opened, and I felt the ground shift under me. Not from the snow, but from shock. Caleb? It was Mrs. Diane Calloway, Derek's mom. She looked as surprised as I felt. Standing there in a cream-colored sweater, her dark hair loose around her shoulders, candle in her hand because apparently the power was already out. She was 48, and I'd known her since I was 14 years old. She'd made me grilled cheese sandwiches after football practice. She'd driven us to concerts in her minivan. She'd been the cool mom, the kind one, the one who always asked how you were doing like she actually meant it. "What are you doing here?" we both said at the exact same time. Then we both laughed. That nervous, disbelieving kind of laugh you do when life hands you something absurd. She'd come up to retrieve some old photo albums Derek's dad had left behind before the divorce. She hadn't checked the weather forecast. Neither had I. And now, neither of us was going anywhere. The cabin had 2 rooms, a main living area with a small kitchen, and a single bedroom with 1 bed. Diane had already claimed the bedroom, which was fair. I told her I'd take the couch. She told me the couch had a broken spring and was barely functional even for sitting. I told her I'd manage. I did not manage. By 9 o'clock, the temperature inside the cabin had dropped significantly. The propane heater in the main room sputtered out, tank empty. I'd checked every cabinet for extra fuel and found nothing but old canned soup and a deck of cards. The fireplace had no dry wood inside, and the woodpile outside was buried under 2 feet of snow and ice. I sat on that broken couch wrapped in my jacket, arms crossed, jaw tight, trying not to shiver out loud so she wouldn't hear me. She heard me anyway. "Caleb." Her voice came from the doorway of the bedroom. "Get in here." "I'm fine." "You're not fine. I can hear your teeth from across the room." I looked up. She was standing in the doorframe, holding a thick wool blanket, her expression the same as it always had been. Warm, no nonsense. The kind of look that said, "Don't argue with me. I've raised a stubborn son and I have patience for exactly none of this." I stood up. The bedroom had 1 bed, 1 candle on the nightstand burning low, and a window rattling so hard against the blizzard outside that it sounded like the whole cabin might come apart. We lay on opposite sides of the bed, fully clothed, a pillow between us like some kind of symbolic boundary, both of us staring at the ceiling in the dark. "This is deeply weird," I said. "Yes," she agreed. "Derek can never know." She laughed softly. "Derek will absolutely never know." The candle flickered. Outside, the storm howled. For a while, we didn't say anything. But the cold was relentless, seeping through the old wooden walls like it had something to prove. I could feel it in my fingertips, then my wrists, then creeping up my arms even through 2 layers. She shifted. The blanket moved. She started. "Yeah," I said, before she could finish. She whispered it anyway, quietly, not dramatically, just practically, the way someone says we need to put gas in the car, or we should probably eat something. We need to share body heat, Caleb. That's just biology. That's just survival. Agreed, I said. Completely practical. Completely practical, she echoed. What happened next was not what you might expect from a story with that kind of setup. And that's exactly why I'm still thinking about it 3 months later. We moved closer together under the blanket. She tucked herself against my side, my arm went around her shoulders, and within about 10 minutes, the warmth between us was genuinely, remarkably better. My fingers stopped going numb, my jaw unclenched, my heart rate slowed, and then we talked. We talked for 4 hours. About Derek, how she worried about him, how proud she was of him, how the divorce had hit him harder than he let on, and how she could see it in the way he laughed a little too loud at parties now. About my own family, my dad's health, my sister's wedding coming up in the spring, the promotion I'd been passed over for twice and was still trying to decide if I should fight for or walk away from. She told me about the photo album she'd come to get, pictures from when Derek was 6, 7, 8, before the fights, before the papers were signed, before she learned that a marriage can look perfect from the outside and be completely hollow at the center. Do you regret it? I asked. Staying as long as you did? She was quiet for a moment. The candle had burned down to almost nothing. I regret not trusting myself sooner, she said finally. I kept thinking someone else knew better than I did about my own life, my mother, his family. The therapist who told us to try harder. She exhaled. Turns out I was the expert on my own life. I just needed to believe that. I didn't say anything for a moment. Then, I think about that a lot, about trusting myself. With the job, with everything. She nodded slowly. I could feel it against my shoulder. You're 26, she said. You're supposed to not have it figured out. That's not failure. That's just being 26. I laughed. A real one this time. You always made things make sense, I told her. Even back when you were driving us to basketball games and pretending not to listen to our conversations. I was always listening, she admitted. You were also wonderfully dramatic. The storm broke sometime around 4 in the morning. By dawn, the roads were being cleared and I had 2 bars of signal. I called the tow company. She called Derek to let him know she was safe and had found the albums. She did not mention I was there. I did not mention it either. We ate the canned soup for breakfast, tomato, room temperature, weirdly one of the best meals I can remember, and sat across from each other at the small wooden table while pale winter light came through the window. Thank you, I said, for the blanket and the 4 hours of free life advice. She smiled into her mug. Thank you for not making it weird. You're the one who said the thing about body heat, and I stand by it. Completely practical. Completely practical, I agreed. I haven't told Derek. I don't think I ever will. But sometimes, when I'm doubting a decision or second-guessing myself at work or wondering if I'm doing any of this right, I think about what she said. You're the expert on your own life. You just have to believe that. The blizzard was a disaster. The cabin was freezing. The soup was cold. And somehow, it was exactly what I needed.